Hey guys, so today I want to talk about the very aptly named Netflix original series 3%. The reason I say it's aptly named is because there's 8 episodes and in each of the and between the 8 episodes I only gave 3% of my attention span. It's a 2016 thriller which is dubbed over from Portuguese because it's set in a dystopian Portuguese country where everybody is struggling to survive. Food is scarce. Clothing is dirty. There's very little electricity, and basically people are scraping by, just to survive. Now, its plotline is much like that of the Hunger Games in the sense that people compete with each other in a testing process called The Process. How original is that? Anyway, so the idea is when people turn 20, they can apply to do this process. And what happens is they get put through a series of tasks which, test a number of different aspects. But the funny thing is, it says it tests a number of different aspects. None of it is explained. None of it. Like, it's never really truly explained why the tasks are being done. For example, the very first task that they have to do is there's a huge pile of blocks, like building blocks, like Tetris pieces, in the middle of a circular table with about eight or nine people standing around the table. The idea is they use the blocks to make 9 cubes. I haven't a fucking clue why that was a thing. I don't know what good that is. Anyway, the idea is only 3% of the people who apply for the process, which is about 900 or so of them, can get into this, euphoric world that is supposedly so much better that it's supposed to be like the saving grace of the human race for this world, and it's called the offshore. Where they came from is called the inland. Where they're going is the offshore. Inland, offshore. Okay, creative by thought process. They're like, yeah, great, fantastic, we'll call it that. But the tasks were the best thing about this show. But even then, they were really badly explained. Nobody knew what was going on, and it seemed all pointless. To be honest, this is not going to be an all that long video because I don't really want to waste my time talking about this. But I said I would go through a list of stuff I watched, and I watched this. But I don't really have much to say on this because I really didn't enjoy it as much as I did. I watched the 8 episodes with the idea that there was potential there for it to get better because I like the Hunger Games. I always like the Hunger Games. I like the idea of it. I like the kind of, this is how people make a better life for themselves. But it had, like I said, the show had potential, but it just failed to capitalize on it. I mean, for example, the tasks were the best part, as I said, but even then they were badly explained. If they'd given more explanation as to what the task meant for the actual, future in the offshore, then yeah, sure, I would have agreed with it. But there was none of that. 2 words will really say technically 3 words. 3 words that say what this show is, and that's boring and drawn out. There's no real background given to any of the characters. None whatsoever. Well, I say that. There is some background given. I take back what I said. It's not none whatsoever. It's a very little. Each character, now there's about 5 or 6 characters that are really kind of like, prominent in the series. But you're expected to know their background from a 5-minute flashback that came like once. Like in episode 2. Another one that came in like episode 5. And we're expected to know the ins and outs of this character because of that 5-minute flashback. No, you gotta give me more than that. Even the main character, Michelle, she was supposedly out for revenge for her brother, but it wasn't explained till like near the end what actually happened to her brother. All we know is that her brother is not there anymore, and she's like, oh, I'm really upset about that. I'm gonna get back at the person who was, responsible for that. But there was never any, oh, what happened to him? We just know he's not there anymore. As I said, the character is quite forgettable. There was a character at the very at the very start. Cannot remember her name, but she was supposedly Michelle's friend, and she's instantly forgettable. So are like majority of the characters. Like there's characters in there you only see once or twice, and then they suddenly get like the main focus for an episode or so, and then that's it. That's all you're given about them. Michelle is the only one who's in every single episode. Well, is the main focus in every single episode. As well as that, there's no real suspense or drama. There's no, oh, what could happen next situation. There's no, oh, I wonder if she's gonna, pass a test or whatever. Because it doesn't give you enough time to gain suspense. They're all told they have at least, well, at most, half an hour to complete the task. And that flies by in about a 2-minute sequence. You're not given enough time for suspense or, tension or, any sort of, oh my god, what's going to happen. Because it happens too quickly. Now, I say this knowing that this was a Portuguese dubbed series and had a lot of actors I've never seen before and probably are huge in Portugal or Brazil or, any of those countries. But I didn't know any of them. I never recognized any of them. And I didn't like any of them. They were bad actors, if you ask me. Now, they might be really good in other movies and stuff, but in this Netflix series, they were just, no, they weren't great at all. The episodes were very random as well. There was no flow to them. 1 minute they'd be doing a task to do with the cubes, the next they'd be doing a task to do with, I don't know, trusting each other. And there was no flow to it. Like, there was no, this leads to another. It was just kind of a case of going from one task to another, and the interactions between characters was very, very paper thin and very kind of like plastic. Just, there was no real emotion shown. I mean, I didn't really like how random it was. And then in like episode 5 or 6, it just completely splits off from the main story to give us background about this one dude who we really don't care about. Like, the guy's name is Ezekiel. He's supposedly the runner of the process. Well, he's in charge of it. And it's kind of like, yeah, well, we're going to give you more background for him than we do for Michelle. I'm just like, I don't really care. As I said, this show literally took 3% of my attention span. 95% of the time I was watching this, or I tried to watch this, I'd end up on my phone. Now, I know most you'll say, well, how can you really judge it if you weren't really watching it? If it had gripped me from the start, I could have judged it better. But it didn't. It had so much potential to be good, but just it failed. It failed to give me the thrill I was looking for. I read the synopsis of this and I was like, oh, this sounds really interesting. So I wrote it on my little list, and it came up on my random number generator because that's how I'm doing this. And I was like, okay, I'll watch it. I watched it. It's 8 episodes long, and it took me a week to finish. I didn't want to go and watch it. I really didn't. The episodes are about 40 minutes long. I could fight out an 8 episode series in a day if I wanted to. But I didn't want to watch it. I watched it for the sake of, the video and stuff like that because I promised I would do it. It's just, I really did not enjoy watching it all that much. I stuck with it, hoping it would get better. The ending of it is shit. Like, it really is. Like, there's no satisfying ending. It's just terrible. And they take out the one part that makes the show actually kind of okay. And that's the kind of relationship between Michelle and this other dude. I can't remember his name. But, yeah. It takes that away. That's the only reason, like, the show had... That's the only good thing the show had, bar, like, the tasks. If I was going to give a recommendation with this, out of a 10, I'd give it a 4 out of 10. Which means, again, had a lot of potential, failed to capitalize on it, and had maybe 1 or 2 things that were good about it. That kept me kind of interested to see if that's what they're going to capitalize on. But they didn't. Now, I don't know how well this did in Portugal. I don't know how well this did for most people. I know when I watched it, I was like, no, this is not worth the time or effort. And I would rather watch something else. But again, you can watch it yourselves. I'm not going to stop you. I would highly recommend that if you're going to watch it, no, it's not good. Don't go in with high expectations that it sounds amazing like I did. I'm really disappointed I watched it now. I wasted time on it. I could have been watching something else. But now, I know a lot of you will say, well, why didn't you just stop watching it? Because I can't. I'm physically unable to finish a show unless I really, really, really cannot find something to keep me interested. Like, that's how I've always been with movies or anything. If I can find even that one character that I like, I'll stick with it to see if that one character is, gonna be a big role. Saying it's kind of like, for example, I'll give this example now. It's like when I was watching Naruto. Loved the character of Rock Lee. Rock Lee got screwed over in Shippuden, so I lost interest. And the fight scenes and everything were so much better than Naruto, and that's what I mean. I had stuff I liked in Naruto that Shippuden just failed to capitalize on, and I stopped watching Shippuden halfway through. I got bored of it. I got bored of the filler. I got bored of everything else. Now, this is not a review on Naruto, but going back to 3%, as I said, it's boring and it's drawn out. There's not much else I can say on it. Again, not a very long video, but this is, as I said, there's not much I can say on this. I mean, what more do you want me to say? If I can't find praise with something, I'm not going to praise it. So, give me your comments away, guys. Please check out my other videos, and I will talk to you later. Peace.